Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got something a little bit different for you. I've not been very well lately, and with one thing and another, been busy in the weekends and such, I've got something a little bit different for you today. So I've put together a selection of some of my best sunrises I've taken over the past 12 years or so. So I'll talk you through some of the images, where they were shot and so forth. So sit back, relax and enjoy the slideshow. So first up, this image was taken at New Brighton Beach, looking across the Brighton Pier, and this was taken back in 2006 with my first DSLR, which was a Nikon D70S. Next photo, this image was taken upon Godley Head with the same camera as the previous image. Actually, the first 7 images in this slideshow from the D70S. This next image here, this was taken in Motueka, and this shipwreck is actually called the Janie Seddon, which I'd imagine by now would be probably all rusted away. But this was back in 2007. So it was the first week in January, and it was 4:40 AM in the morning, which, yeah, it was pretty early start, but it was well worth getting up to see sunrise like that, especially with the shipwreck as a silhouette. Image number 4, this was taken in 2010, and I went up the top of the Port Hills here in Christchurch, and as you can see, was treated to a great sunrise. But as I was walking along around the car park, I noticed, looking back at the car, all these reflections in the car. And as I'd just cleaned the car the previous day, the car was spotless. So yeah, as you can see, the reflections on it were great. So this is just a couple of images I took from probably about 50 or so images I took that morning. But like 8 minutes later, after that first image, this is how the sky looked, and just after that the sun rose. But these are the best few images I took of that morning. So moving along to number 8, and this was in around the Lake Tekapo area at a little lake called Lake Alexandrina. Now this is the first few shots I've taken on my new Fuji X-T2 camera with a 18 to 55 kit lens, which, yeah, it's a pretty good kit lens as kit lens goes. But yeah, it was a pretty foggy morning, and this was around about 9ish in the morning, 9:30, and there was still heaps of fog around, so we took quite a few images around here. And so like this one here, I just love the silhouette of the tree against the foggy surroundings, and you can just see the sun poking through the fog there up near the top right hand corner, but not top right hand corner, but a third of the way into it. So yeah, the fog was starting to lift a little bit then, and so as we moved on around the lake, we come to this image here, and this is at the outlet to the lake, where there's some houses around in the background, past just in behind those trees over there, and the boats on the foreshore. But I like the reflections on the water there. It was a pretty still morning. So moving along to image number 11, this little duck was moving very, very slowly across the lake, so it caused hardly a ripple on the lake. As you can see from the image, the lake was really, really still. Now moving on to number 12, this is as we went over to Fairlie for a few days, and as we were photographing around Lake Tekapo and whatnot, this is actually the day we left. Now when we left Fairlie, it was completely covered in fog, so we went out towards this little lake, and there's actually a little earth dam around to the right of this lake. Yeah, as we come around to this lake there, the fog had cleared in this part of the valley, so it gave us a great view of the mountains there and the lake with the reflections there. And so yeah, this one and this image here were probably about the best images I took up there of about half a dozen. Now this here, image number 14, this here is the start of one of the best sunrises we've ever seen. And this sunrise, the light and the clouds, the colours all changed over the course of around about 50 minutes. It was just stunning. And as you can see from the colour of the sky there, went from purples through to reds, yellows. And that first shot was taken at 6:31 a.m. Then, like I say, with this image, this was 15 minutes later, and as you can see, the colours are quite different than the first one. Yeah, so we took probably 100 or so images, my wife and I, that morning, and we're just blown away by the amount of colour in the sky, the changes in the cloud. This one here, this was 20 minutes after the very first photograph we took that morning, and as you can see, quite orangey colours, a little bit of yellow in there, but you can see a little bit of the blue sky peeping through the clouds there. At this point the sun hasn't actually broken the horizon yet, but these were some of the best images. I mean, like I say, I took probably 50-60 images. I can't show them all, otherwise this video would just go on and on, way too long. Yeah, this is part of an old jetty that was still there, and this was in Governor's Bay actually, looking out. I sort of should have said at the start of that part. This is actually looking out from Governor's Bay out towards Lyttelton, and then the heads of Lyttelton Harbour there. And as you can see, the lights at Lyttelton Harbour there, and the yachts in the foreground. As you see, the colours, there's yellows, oranges, purples, so many different shades and hues of all the colours in the rainbow just about. So yeah, this was 25 minutes after the very first photograph we took, and this, moving ahead to when we stopped filming, this was actually 52 minutes after the very first photo that you've seen in this little segment here. And as you can see, the colours are like golden, yellow, orange. It's just amazing sunrise. It'd be the best sunrise I've ever seen. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to top this sunrise because it just went on so long. This one, this was a few months later, and we went through to Lyttelton, and we're trying to get some more sunrise photos around Lyttelton area, around the marina. But as you can see by the clouds, they were a bit stormy looking, and we actually got some rain just after these few shots. We took a few photographs here, and then went to a local cafe and had a cup of tea, and then it just started pouring with rain. But as you can see, even a stormy sunrise photo can look amazing. Onto image number 20, and this is a photograph I'd envisioned for a few weeks before I actually took this. On my way into work, I crossed an overbridge over the railway lines, and I'd often seen light reflecting off the tracks. So early one morning I headed up there and took some photos. But this is one I particularly like because of the leading lines right in through from either corner into like an apex in the middle of the photo, and with the light reflecting off the train tracks, it gave a lot of contrast to the image. But I converted it to black and white mainly because of the building over onto the left and about the middle, which is St. Pierre's Sushi, which stood out, and it just distracted from the image. That's why I converted it to black and white, to just tone that down a bit. Moving on to image number 21, and this was in May of 2018. My wife and I went into Hagley Park to capture the sunrise, but as you can see, there's not much in the way of colour in the sky. The clouds, there was bugger all clouds in the sky, but as we were walking around the lake there, we saw the sun rising up on the horizon through the trees here, and with a little bit of fog around the lake there, it made for a nice image. So we took a few images, and this is one where the sun was risen up just a little bit extra, and as you can see, the fog in the foreground there over the lake there, I like the image. I gave it gives a nice feel to the image with the fog moving across the lake and the sun in through the trees there. But I like this image better in black and white than the original colour image of this one. I think the black and white, it just stood out to me way more. Now this one here, this is a early morning, went over to Taylor's Mistake, and I've not long got some ND filters, some square ND filters, and I put a 10-stop filter on it and was trying to capture the waves just receding. So over the course of 5-10 minutes, this was the best image I come up with the wave had just come in when I took the photograph, and so all of the water just receded back out into the ocean there and left this line from where the wave had reached. But yeah, it was a little bit dark and stormy looking, but there was a little bit of colour on the horizon there, so it wasn't too bad. Lucky last. This is another morning I went over to Governor's Bay to take some more sunrise photos. It's a nice spot there to take photos from. And the colours weren't so good in the sky this morning, but with the 10-stop ND filter that I was using, I thought this is going to work really well. So put 10-stop on and took a few images, and this is the one that I like the best, with the water all smoothed out and the motion in the clouds gives you a bit of feel like it's the wind, the clouds are moving really fast towards you. So that's all I have for you today. So I hope you like the selection of sunrises that I've displayed here. So hopefully I'll be back to normal next week with another video for you all. So please don't forget, if you like the video, hit that like button and please subscribe if you aren't already. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.